Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday night live stream. Tonight, Rebel was bebopping with the music as we were getting ready to start. And if it ain't got a steel guitar in it, is it really country?
No.
Yeah. That's the topic for another day. We got a good topic for our 2 or maybe even 3 for y'all tonight. How was your week, CW?
Again, it just blazed by. It seems like I lose a couple of days every week. I don't know what's going on. It just zooms right by. But it was a good week. Aside from being wicked, wicked cold, we didn't see any negative temperature numbers. We had negative wind chills every day. But we were single digits most of the week. Not quite as cold as Gene had it, but not too far behind. And a lot of inside stuff happened. I cleaned the house a couple times, and I got extra cleaning on the downstairs bathroom, and looking for things to get done in the house. So overall, a really good week, though. Gene, what'd you do in this cold?
Tried to stay warm. I got those apps on my phone to start my car. So we'll be doing that 2 and 3 times before I go outside because, OH10 had it pretty cold, man. We hit a couple sub-zero temperatures and then wind chill on top of that. So, but had a good week at work. Got a lot done, primed a lot of brass, and running them priming machines like crazy. We had some huge sales days. It was nuts seeing how tall that pallet got with boxes. It was crazy. But good to be here, and we do have some good topics tonight. Hello to everybody in the side chat. And what about you, KY? What you got going on tonight?
I had a good week at work. I wasn't too far away from Ohio. I was up around Louisville, Kentucky, and we had those sub-zero temperatures. And of course, everybody knows I work outside, so I wore multiple layers and 2 heated jackets, and we got through it. Got a full weekend, and I'm not going to complain about it because next week they're saying it may warm up and rain and be muddy, and I think I'd rather be cold and walking on the frozen ground than trouncing around in the mud myself. But glad to be here. Looking forward to tonight's show. How about you, Rebel?
Well, no sub-zero. It was 14 this morning. It was 11 one morning. That's cold enough. For a southern boy, that's rough. And, when it gets to be 40 and you're standing outside saying, man, it's plumb balmy out here. It's been cold. So a friend of mine drove up from South Carolina, and he built an e-bike from scratch, from parts, and even put a bad battery, put new lithium cells in it. And he said, look, I've got me another one. I want to sell this one, but I want you to try it for a little while. He said, if you try it for a year and then resell it, whatever. He said, this is what I want for it. I don't care. Well, I took it home. You should have seen my big butt get on that thing last night. And I ran it up the driveway, down the driveway. And I started running it back down the driveway, and I rested my thumb on the gear shifter, and it started getting faster. And I was pedaling it, and I was like, you have that panic mode, where it's like, oh, crap, So I started hanging my legs off like a kid, and I looked down, and I saw the display said 4. And he said, don't ever put it in 4th gear, man. He said, it goes really fast. I mean, like 35 miles an hour. So I'm in my yard, okay? And I started slapping stuff and finally got it back to 1st. But I think that thing's going to be it's got a gun rack on the front and a rack on the back. If I can get comfortable with it, I think that's going to be a fishing machine and a groundhog hunting machine. It's quiet. It don't make any noise. And maybe I'll even pedal it every once in a while, get some exercise.
Get one of them full auto Freon BB guns that they had when we were kids and mount that on the handlebars.
Amen, brother. I heard that. Yeah. All the guys at work are just, they all work for me. They're all making fun of me. Oh, you're a big fat butt on a bike, you big redneck. I said, oh, I'm gonna put a Confederate flag on the back of it, just wave it back there. But
So in other words, you got your heart racing, but it wasn't from pedaling.
no. It was that oh crap moment. Yeah. Andy, how's your week?
Cold. We had 3 nights and 8 degrees at night, 15 to 18 during the day. But we had no wind, so that was good.
I saw the bay froze. The
bay
the outlet. Yeah.
Oh, we were frozen all over the place, but
that's salt water, folks. That's salt water. Well, brackish at least, but it's a lot of salt.
So they were out there playing on the ice over here. But anyway, the week went quick at work. Like, where the days go by, I swear I only worked 3 days, but 5 went by. Busy reloading 9mm. I'm up to about, I don't push it, 100, 150 rounds at night when I get home from work after I get relaxed. And I probably did about this. I'm trying to get rid of all my old cast bullets because I'm not really shooting lead anymore, and they're all powder coated, everything else in size and whatnot. So to melt them down into lead again, nah. So busy loading up lots of them. I've probably got 7,000 or 8,000 round nose 124 grains to load, and then I got probably about 3,000 truncated cones to load. And just to shoot them out. But the old Dylan Square D's doing the job. So
Andy, let me tell you this. If you don't feel like loading those, send them to me, and I will dispose of them properly in the correct ATF receptacle.
I'll be loading them up. I'll be shooting them out. Enjoy shooting it. And I got a few people that come down when I on my Wednesdays when I start taking the days off at the end of the year that have 9mm, and they just don't have the money to really shoot more than maybe 20 rounds or so. And they come, and so I hate to see them, doing that, spending the money, the $30 for an hour. Well, you can stay there all day, but they get there and they're out of there in 20 minutes to a half hour. I can't afford to shoot any more than that. And I've been giving them some stuff to shoot and some zinkers because that's mainly what I had loaded. And they were enjoying the hell out of the zinkers. And so I'll have plenty to give away. Just get the brass back. But I have a lot of trouble. I don't know going on with my 9mm. I'll load 50 rounds, put them through the case gauge, 42 of them, no problem. And then 8 of them like are tight. And I can't figure out why it's doing that. So I put them back. I just crank those in again, put the size of die, the crimp die a little tighter and tighter until it works and goes in. And then I fix those. Don't know why. The bullets are all sized. I mean, it was the first thing I did when I had the problems. Is I just started. I took the jar and dumped them through the APP and went 356, which is where I normally size. And
mixed brass.
Yeah, it's all mixed brass, okay, but I don't have that problem with zinc. That's what's driving me nuts. I'll load 150 rounds and maybe one's tight when I do zinc. So I don't know. I don't know why. The zinc's 355 diameter, so it's smaller. So I don't want to do the lead any smaller than that because then I worry about leading. But that's it. I mean, it's no big deal. I mean, like I said, I get 50, I get 5 to 8, whatever, that don't want to go in the the chamber gauge. Well, I have two chamber gauges, which always drives me nuts. I have I'm trying to remember the two brands. They're chamber gauges. The one with the cutaway. What's that? This who makes those?
Sheridan.
Yes,
Sheridan.
I have the Sheridan, which is looser than the Wilson, and the Wilson's a chamber gauge as well. And if it a little snug in the Wilson, it's Sheridan. It goes right in. So it's not not a big deal. I mean, I got some that just don't want to go all the way in on the Wilson and the Sheridan. They drop right in. It's good enough. I know it'll chamber in my gun. I'm just worried about chambering in other people's guns because I'm going to, they'll be shooting my stuff. So, but that's about it.
Thanks for being here, man. I got a question for you later when we get in the topic.
Uh-oh.
Why don't we go ahead and get in the topic?
Okay.
We
You should
were.
say hello to Hillbilly first.
Oh yeah, Hillbilly. How was your week?
Hey, fellers. Oh man, been a good week. We got above freezing a little bit during the day each day. Sun come out, so that meant cutting and splitting some more firewood. So anyway, that's what I've been doing a lot this week. But yeah, good week. Definitely. Thanks
Good
for
to see you,
having
man.
me.
Good to see you.
Good to
Well,
see
thanks.
all of you guys. And man, look at that side chat going already, man.
Well, thanks for being here, man. I was going to ask you something, but I forgot what it was. So I should fill in the audience. I was going to tell y'all Hillbilly's going to be a little bit late, but never mind. Then Scotsman is in the side chat, but he's at work. So y'all kind of, I won't say don't make any comments to him or anything like that, but we don't want to get him in trouble at work.
And Ricky's got some wonky internet, so he will try and be here before we get off the air if it gets straightened out, but he doesn't know. And I haven't heard from Walter, or I didn't notice a text from him.
He was out in the side chat there.
And Walter had, he said that he knew nothing about what we were talking about tonight, but he really does. But anyway, I kind of feel funny without Walter on here anymore. But now the topic tonight is yeah, I can tell, brother. There you go. Sounds like he's making 8 to get out of town, right? We wanted to kind of review our deer hunting season a little bit. I know a lot of you guys out there hunt. I know some of you don't, but we'll try to make it entertaining for you guys as well. Our Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog, we got Bubba's out there tonight too, man. So this is the thing. Let me see if I can remember which question we asked first. Basically, what's your favorite large game cartridge? And we'll get to the gun later. And how did it perform for you this year? Are you thinking about keeping that, or do you want to move up to something new? So Daniel's already on it. He says 4570. What about you, CW?
Well, all last year, I waited for that 40 Legend, and it never happened, and it still hasn't happened. I'd like to be hunting with that, but I had a renewed interest in my 450 Bushmaster with a couple of videos and a couple things I've been watching, and talking about suppressed and about subsonic ammo with those great big bullets. It's a little different game with that when you're talking about a 500 grain bullet at 1,000 feet per second. Most people are used to a little blackout and getting used to this 8.6, which is shooting some good heavy bullets, but they're still not 500 grains. And I can shoot 500s out of that 450 and the 458 SOCOM, and they bring some energy to the table. So that's kind of got me excited. So I don't know if I'll do it, but I would like to try that 400 Legend. Got to get it first. How about you, Hillbilly?
Oh man. Well, I mean, we really don't hunt much. About our biggest game around here is either a white-tailed deer or a hog, and but the white-tailed deer, I still love the 30-30 lever action. This year I did take the 300 blackout, but it was kind of a little late in the season. I didn't see anything, so I wasn't able to really test it out. But in the past, a buddy of mine, he had a 7mm rim mag, and we were going down there in Arkansas. There is a place where you can hunt some elk, and they're not as big as like Colorado and stuff, but he loaned me his for that, and we went out shooting, before we went down there. And I'm talking, you can mow down a tree this big around with one of those things. I mean, with not that many shots. And anyway, I was able to use it that year, and I did get an elk. And I mean, that dude it took a dirt nap, when I shot. So, just because that's one I have used, that's a pretty sweet round. For the distance we was shooting and the environment, it worked well.
Yeah, 7-mag's a good cartridge, a popular cartridge for good reason. It's a pretty good one. Gene, you don't do much hunting, I know, but you got anything to add? Anything you like to try? Or
I would like to try to go elk hunting out west. I was actually talking to MacMan about coming out there and maybe making a trip out and doing some hunts. I think that'd be quite fun. This here behind me is a replica of what I hunted with as a juvenile, which would be that Deer Sweet 35 Remington.
Great.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
That's about all I got, though.
That's no rep.
Until I can make some videos, and because if it's not on video, it didn't happen. So until I can get out west and make some videos and get some hunting on, and that's all I got.
That's the real deal, man. That's no replica. Just saying.
Well, to the one I had, to my original one. This is my beloved one from Mr. JH586.
Yeah, you almost got mine, and I almost kept that one. So mine just shoots so good, I couldn't part with it. Yours looks probably better than mine, but that's another topic for another day.
They're all beautiful
in their own way.
Must have scars. That's a requirement.
That's a Ray Stevens song, man.
I was thinking more of Godsmack, but
Chad, what do you think?
It's cool.
Do I have to name one?
No, not at all.
That's my problem.
We got an hour and a half or so, hour and 20 minutes. So you can just go.
Of course, I took my only deer this year with a 50 cal muzzle loader. Everybody probably saw that. I broke my nose, but my go-tos for rifle season, I have 5 rifles that are allocated to deer hunting, and that's a 35 Remington, which I used this year, a 30-30, a 450 Bushmaster, a 350 Legend, and a 7mm 08.
We'll get the job done.
There's Abigail.
I see a lot of that brass come through the shop, KY.
708.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've been thinking about some 7mm 08.
Yeah. I probably should ought to buy a bag from you, Gene. I could use some 708s. Some of what I got is made from 308s, and it's common enough that I don't need to be making it.
I can put some together for you. We really don't get any call for it around here. So I end up chipping into a big bucket of mixed brass, large rifle brass.
Yep, for sure. I hunted this year a lot with the 300 hammer. I wanted to take something with the 300 hammer. And then we went all season, and I didn't really see anything I wanted to shoot. And then we went to another piece of property, and it was a lot thicker than where we are normally hunting. So I brought the 358 Winchester, and we didn't hunt one afternoon and went back to our property. And don't you know, something come walking up, and I ended up shooting it with the 358 Winchester again, which I've got dozens of deer with. But it was with my cast bullet, so that was pretty good. But I wanted to use that 300 hammer, so I didn't get a chance to. And then with the muzzle loader, I wanted to be using that new smokeless one, but I didn't have a chance to get loads put together with that. So I used my old Sidekick, which works fine. No nonsense. That worked really good. But yeah, I had vision with that 400. It just never came to be. What about you, Rebel? What'd you use this year?
Well, if you ask me what my favorite was, and I started listing, Jamie'd have to mute me. I'm like you, CW. I always think it's fun trying a new cartridge out and seeing how it performs. Last year I did the 6.5 Grendel. This year I did the 6.5 Grendel again. Didn't hunt it on my own property. Didn't go off anywhere. Saw some does. Decided not to take one. This year was a horn hunt year, and I didn't end up shooting one. I could have. I counted coup on about 5 or 6 young bucks and does, but I had meat in the freezer, so no big deal. And I know you can't manage 15 acres, but there's no sense in killing one and doing all that work if you really don't need it. So, I've been pleased with how that Grendel, it really hits above its weight. You look at the cartridge.
It does. It does.
And all those ARC cartridges, by the way, for those folks that don't reload, that are in the know, are Grendel cartridges. They're the 6 ARC is a 6 Grendel, the 22 ARC is a 22 Grendel. They're identical. There's really not much difference. And but using the right bullet, which I was using the 120 Gold Dot last year, it dropped that doe at a buck 30, 130 yards like nothing. I mean, she never moved. And so I went with that this year, and didn't see anything I wanted to take. But I've used everything from I think my first rifle kill was a 30-06, and I've run the gamut. I bet I've killed deer with 24 cartridges, including 45-70, and I love them all. I love them all. I've got a sickness. So, Andy, how about you?
Well, I haven't hunted in years. I stopped, I don't know, 15, 18 years ago when I shot my last deer, and I had no one to help me get it out of the woods. And I said, forget this.
Yeah.
I'm a little too old to haul that sucker out. But anyway, my first rifle was a Winchester 30-30 purchased in 1962. My father bought it for S&H green stamps, and he also bought a Winchester 32 special on the same day with S&H green stamps. So those were my two beginning rifles at a very young age. My first few hunts were with the 30-30. Didn't get lucky at all. But I did run across a small, I don't want to say a small bear, but a bear. I hunt in the Catskills, New York, in Sullivan County. We have property up there which bordered government land, and so we had all land in the world to hunt. A beautiful tree stand built and all this good stuff, but the bear scared me a little bit, so I went out and got something a little bigger. Wound up with a 30-06, which became my daily routine hunting gun. Basically, reloading for that was good old 40-64. I don't remember the loads. I haven't loaded in a while for those hot loads, but 165 grain spear, lead tip, boat tail, whatever. And the rifle was always dead accurate because I was able to shoot long distance because of the house upstate, 1,800 feet of open field. So that was my range, and developed the loaded for 1,800 feet. And, and anything in between was not an issue. But in the woods upstate New York, you're lucky if you got 50 yards, so. Yep. But I wanted that to carry because of the bear situation, which I ran into quite a few bears, but they never made their way towards me. But I've seen them, and I said, I'm just glad I had the extra power.
Yep.
Didn't take many deer because my first deer I got was only a spike, and nobody liked to eat the deer meat. So it was like, okay, so that was a lot of meat for one person. So I became picky. Now I wanted, something to shoot. I wanted something, but I wasn't going to shoot a small deer. If I'm going to shoot one, I'm going to go for a big one. And nothing really big ever came across during hunting season. Day after, they were all over the place. 8-pointers, 10-pointers. During the season, 4-pointer, we were lucky if that's what you saw. I didn't shoot a lot. I think maybe I started when I was 16. I was going out with my father in the woods. So I was like 1968, I want to say. In 1971, I was 18, and my father wasn't hunting anymore at that point in time, and I was going alone, and again, shooting a deer and getting it out. I remember I got an 1,800-foot backyard to the woods, and then I'm in the woods a couple hundred yards. So it's a 2,000-foot drag uphill. So I always had that in the back of my mind to get it out of the woods. Then I started hunting with my gun club. We're all local. We all lived in the same neighborhood. And I started inviting them. You guys want to come up to my parents' place, and we went up there and we had a good time. We never got many deer. They were during the summertime, deer everywhere. So we didn't get lucky during the hunting season. Then I said one year I decided I was going to go brought my rifle just in case, but I was looking for something to shoot with a pistol. And I wasn't in the woods 8 or 10 minutes in my tree stand. And something was coming at me. And New York State was a little hard to get doe permits, but I had one that year. And so I'm sitting in a tree stand, and it's coming at me, but I can't see it. I can hear it, but I can't see it. Finally, I see it. It's a doe, and it's alone, so I wasn't too worried that, I'm shooting mommy. Okay. And she just kept walking straight towards the tree. And I'm sitting in the tree. I could have hit her in the head with a rock. And she's just standing there grazing. And I says, can I do this? And I pulled out the pistol. That was the Dan Wesson 357 with the 10-inch barrel with scope. And I don't think the deer was more than 30 feet away from me. And just took a shot in the head, just dropped it right there on the spot. And, I enjoyed the meat. The meat out of the doe was better than any of the bucks I had. And they were all young bucks. They weren't old bucks. So, and they all eat the same food area. There's nothing there. There's some cornfields in the back. And then, of course, the hay and whatever. That was the best deer I ever had food-wise. And then I started going out with a camera. Brought the rifle or the pistol, but I went out with a camera. Taking some pictures, never got much in the way of pictures other than squirrels and chipmunks. Again, the deer were scarce, but in the summertime, they'd walk right up to you. So that's my hunting life, okay? 3006 was my favorite. And it still is, because I do shoot it a lot at the range. I'm not shooting 300-yard targets. I'm not loading hot stuff. I'm doing all the zinc shooting. 100-yard targets is the max I'm shooting. They're lightly loaded. I mean, I'm still getting, 1.5 inch, 2-inch groups at 100 yards with a 113 grain bullet out of zinc with only 12 grains of powder. So I can shoot that all day long. So that's my hunting stories.
Very cool. Very cool.
Mario slipped in there on us.
Yeah, we need to shout him out. Y'all ready? We have a sighting.
Uh-oh.
Count us down, Kentucky Rimfire.
In 3, 2, 1.
Hey!
What's up, Mario?
West Coast weirdo.
The battle bean himself.
He's a beaner.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I want to say, especially anybody who watched rerun or out there, I mean, personally, from where I'm at, you can't go wrong with 30-06. If you're just going to buy one Dur rifle, I mean, it works up close. It's got some, distance on it, and definitely has the knockdown. So
You can load it. You can load from 110 grain to 240 grain bullets in the stupid things. So you can go hunting for anything with it.
Yep, it'll do about it all.
And they used to have those 22 what do they call them? Sabrets, plastic sabrets that went in and
Accelerators. Yep.
yeah,
Accelerator.
But I used to reload my own.
Yep.
It's like, so you can go out there and hunt chipmunks and woodchucks with small caliber bullets too out of a 30-06. Yeah. And those things fly.
And not only does the 30-06 have 2 world wars on its back, it's a great hunting round, no doubt about that. I definitely agree with you, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say it's the most versatile.
It's close.
I think I wouldn't try a moose or an elk with it unless it was a small one. But, pretty much anything else.
It'll do just fine.
A
lot of that depends on the bullet too.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So, and like Abigail says, it's a decent sniper rifle. Well, like I said, I used to shoot. Well, that's not far. 1,800 feet is 600 yards. But I could shoot tin cans off the stone wall at 1,800 feet. So.
Yeah, 600 yards ain't
no joke.
That ain't no joke.
So it's no, it's not. Well, you guys went out to the 1,000 yard ranges. But I mean, it took me a while to develop a load that worked well at that distance, but also worked at 300 yards.
I'll tell you
Oh.
that the old 3006 is a better 1,000-yard gun than a lot of the rifles guys are using for 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, didn't Kyle Luss hit 1,000 yards with his 30-06 the first shot?
No, 308.
308.
Oh, 308. Okay.
The baby brother.
Not just that, man. He won a $20 bet because they hit it with one shot cold bore.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Yep.
And he'll never let us forget that.
I don't blame him.
I don't either. I don't blame him at all.
And I don't, and I don't rub it into Kyle that
Who's this guy?
he placed that same $20 bet with me and lost. We won't talk about that. I didn't take you $20.
There's Idaho Rogers.
What can we do for a shout out, Jamie?
I don't know, but we're overtime calling out the side
Yep.
check.
3006?
Well, since Idaho, we ain't seen them in a while, why don't we just type in Idaho? Can we do that? Some of them's already got in 30-06. We'll count those two. Oh, hillbilly.
Abby says Idaho. Sorry.
Who the
Apparently, there's a football game going on Sunday. We'll talk about that maybe later. So, Kentucky Rimfires and Hobbies is on the panel, and in the side chat, Abigail Finnegan's out there. GGW Outdoors is out there. Reloading from the Hot Pot is on the panel and the side chat. Andy 79Z28 is also. CW Longshot is also. Mike Hester is also. Hillbilly Up is also. And Christian Grest is out there. Texas 6 is out there. Bama Dad. Andy, Alaska 1 Andy. Christian Grest. GGW Outdoors. Abigail Finnegan again. Duffer 426. Bobby Barlow. Mario Mosen, Edward Petty, James Pollard, Tactical Fudd, Idaho Rogers USMC, Texas 6, Andre D'Angelo, Walter Viejo, Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog, Service Venator. I hope I said that right, buddy. Papa's Place. Yeah, there I am. Walks Fletcher, Glenn Davis, Dale Pogue, Glenn Davis again. I got y'all all confused. I'm sorry, guys. Ron 2A Matters, Walks Fletcher's out there, and he's got me covered. Check that out. Rich B, Tim S, Mario again. Tread. What about Tread? What's going on? Preacher's Day Off is out there. Mr. Bob's out there. Paul Loud. And good to see Tread out there. Good to see Preacher's Day Off. And I think we are caught up. Texas 6. The refs have a football game Sunday in Kansas City. Yes, they do. What happened to Hillbilly? Oh, there he is. Did we lose somebody or somebody's messing with my control buttons? That's what it is.
Changed the settings there.
Latin for Deer Hunter. That's cool, man. Really good. And that was a great movie. If y'all have not seen The Deer Hunter with Robert De Niro, you should check that out. Okay, so question number 2 of our topic tonight were your rifles and your cartridge, did your gun perform up to expectations this year? And are you thinking about going to something else? I know.
Always thinking about going to something else.
Yeah. So somebody help Idaho with 300 blackout subsonic.
What? Just that's
Well,
simple.
that's a good round right there.
We
That's
touched on it a
something
little
I'm
bit.
very-
Are you looking for hunting with it? Just shooting with it? Having fun? What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, I take it Texas 6 is happy with his.
Send them some 113 grain zinkers and load it up with about 8 grains of unique, and you'll be happy.
So yeah, Texas 6 that is dead in its tracks. So I think he's content with what he's got going on.
I'm happy with what I have. I have no reason to reach out for anything else. I mean, I thought of a different caliber just to have it, but not for a hunting purpose. But I decided I'm not going to spend any more money on any new guns. I got enough to keep me busy, and between casting and reloading and all the shooting I do during the summer. So as far as you talk about how am I happy with my rifles? Well, I put 100-yard deer target out there, and I put 20 rounds in his heart. I'm happy.
You went with a 357 last year too.
Yeah. So 350. I shot with pistol, and then I got I bought the lever action 357.
Rossi. Yep.
The Rossi, but again, it was I said I wanted to buy one more gun, and I was leaning with a 44 mag, and I said, now I got to buy everything new molds, new this, new that, and I said, but 357, because I don't always care to shoot my pistol as much as I would shoot a rifle, so it's the same damn bullet. So I worked up loads for the Rossi, and they all shooting lights out of the pistol. So
Perfect.
and I'm just planking. I'm having a good time. I go to the range, and the range officer tried some of my Type 3 wad cutters in zinc, and he loved what I gave him. He asked me to cast him up bullets. He's giving me a bunch of zinc. So what the hell?
Rebel and I are pretty big fans of the 300. We've been shooting it for quite a while, and I know
Since inception.
Yeah,
Since
I've had
cartridges.
five of them at one time. I think I still have 3. I shoot my Ruger bolt probably the most, and AR next. But I like that Ruger bolt, and I tell you, I've made some money for Ruger with people at the range shooting my little Ruger bolt, because that thing is downright scary accurate. It's miserly on the powder. I shoot a lot of cast bullets in it. It's just a dandy, absolute gem. No recoil, no scope blackout. Puts bullets in the same hole, 50 yards, near the same hole, 100. Around here with the deer, we're up close. It works fine for the deer. It's a hunter's cartridge, not a shooter's cartridge as far as hunting. In other words, you got to put your bullets where they belong, because you're not talking about a lot of power. But it's been a couple dozen for sure, and never lost a single deer. And many of them were, DRT, bang flops. So it works fine as long as you do your part. If you're just poking holes, well, the 375 H&H may not be big enough. But if you're aiming and hitting where you're shooting, the little blackout, inside 100 yards is deadly.
That my 300 blackout, I have a bolt, and I have an AR, and they both shoot lights out, and I'm only shooting zinc. Again, I'm having a ball with zinc, you have some of them. I've sent everybody who's got those 30 cal bullets. And I'm not loading for hunting. I'm loading to plink.
Mhm.
And answering somebody telling me H110 357. I have all the right powders, but everybody basically knows a couple of years back, 3 years back, whatever it was, I walked into my local gun store and bought 1 pound of Winchester Super Handicap, and he had tons of it in there at $2 a pound. And he wasn't selling it, so I bought it, and I said, I'm going to go play. And I used that powder in everything. 9mm, 380, 357, 38, 3 in a blackout, 223, 3006, everything. So as far as running out of powder, I have an undisclosed amount. There's that much of it, and it cost me $1 a pound when I bought it all from him. So when I want to load hot, I use the real stuff. When I'm going out just having fun, I use the other stuff. And I'm trying oddball powders that shouldn't work well in anything, and I'm getting them to work. So if you spend the time and work up a load using, I'm using a software and quick loads, and basically you learn how to use that right. You can get almost any powder to work. I mean, unless it really, really, really doesn't belong, it's too slow or way too fast. But you can take the average run-of-the-mill powder and start somewhere and work up a load that's going to work in just about anything.
Yeah, you quick loads is a really good one. It'll show you efficiency of that powder, and it'll show you that, just like Andy said, you can use a whole lot of powders that you wouldn't expect to work. They work okay. I mean, as long as you don't need top velocity or top efficiency, they'll send the bullet down the barrel and poke a hole in the paper and be fine. They won't be optimal for performance, optimal for efficiency. But
you work up a ladder load like anything else. Just start somewhere, work up, and find where your nulls are, and work around the null, and you'll find a load that's accurate for that powder. I mean, I may not be shooting 3,000 feet per second with my 3006, but I'm definitely shooting 2,000 feet per second. I'm only using 8 rounds of powder. So,
The other thing you might want to consider too, if you have an AR and you're reloading for it, your powders are limited. You have to think about gas volume,
right.
and with a bolt action, the world's your oyster.
Oh yeah, well my 223 AR full loads using the right powder, 3 in a blackout full loads using the right powder. In my bolts, I can load 4 grains of powder and shoot bullseyes at 50 yards all day long. So you just have to find the load. You got to be smart when you reload. Don't just try something. You need to either be working with somebody who's got the software that can help you out and get you a starting point with a specific bullet, and then you just work till you find the load that works for that bullet.
And as far as hunting subsonic, there's some bullets out there. I mean, the 190 Sub X comes to mind, probably the most mass produced. And then you get into the more foo-foo bullets, the Lehigh, the Maker. CW, help me out here. What else?
Yeah, those are big ones. There's a lot of smaller little boutique makers, but those are probably the big ones that everybody comes to mind, and they're darn good bullets. They're designed.
Oh yeah, they ain't cheap, but they're good.
They ain't cheap, but they will expand at the lower velocities down to 800, 700 feet per second. You'll still get expansion out of them, and they're because a lot of them are an alloy, whether they're brass or copper or a copper alloy. They're kerf cut, so they don't expand like a lead bullet does. They fragment, but they fragment in pieces that result in multiple wound paths, and they work pretty efficiently at what they're designed for humanely harvesting these animals. So I do the same
But
thing
my-
with cast bullets because I can tune my alloy to do the same thing. But just different ways to skin a cat. That's all.
My favorite subsonic 300 blackout load for a bolt action is a 30 caliber XTP with I think 4.5 grains of unique. You
The
hear
90
the
grain?
firing pin, yeah, 90 grain, and
Yeah,
you
great
hear
for
you hear the
30
firing pin fall. You can hit rabbits at 75 with it. It's great. I love it.
Yep, it's a good one.
He should try out some of my 113 grains zinc because they're 180 grain Lyman mold, and they come out at 113 grains in zinc, and at like 8 grains of powder and a 300 blackout, you're talking you're coming in you're in that 2,000 feet per second range, but it's subsonic because the bullet's so light. It's ridiculous how they shoot.
I did a video a couple of years ago now with Andy zinc bullets, and I got some tremendous accuracy. And I only just picked the powder I had a bunch of. I think I shot, what was it, 120? N120 I think I shot. I just had a lot of it, so I used it. And I had some single hole groups. The bullets were going in one hole for 5 shots. And if I shot more, it would have been, just more bullets in the same hole.
The zinc work. I mean, I know you guys don't, care so much. You cast your own stuff and you kind of settle. You're buying the heads you want, but until you play and shooting the zinc, never mind casting for it, just shooting it and start experimenting, and you get amazed at the little amount of powder you have to use to get the higher velocities you want, and the accuracy behind them is amazing. All right. I mean, they're great blinking target loads. You want to shoot squirrels, you want to shoot woodchucks, they'll work. They're not going to mushroom.
Right. They just poke holes.
They poke holes.
Yeah.
You hit a deer in the head. The backside of the head has got a pretty big wound channel. So, I mean, if you're going through soft meat, it's going in and out. You hit a bone, it'll fragment and do all kinds of stuff. So, but I actually at the range at the 50-yard targets, they were the range. The berm was so heavy leaded because they don't clean it heavy, that the bullets were bouncing out and landing at the berm's like 8 feet behind the target, and they were landing right at the target. They were popping out landing, and and what's his name? James Pohl would testify too. He shoots into rubber mulch, and he recovered the bullets and reloaded them again and shot them again. Okay. Now I've done that. Okay, but I didn't make it a habit. I just wanted to see. And was it as accurate? Nah, the bullet's not 100% straight. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be standing 100 yards down range and me getting shot at with it, because you won't miss. You might just not be on 100% on point. But it was amazing how I recovered some. I have a video up on my channel about the recovered ones, showing them stuff, and I've reshot them, and they worked. But James Pohl is an experimenter with the zinc. He's actually, he casts some of his own and whatnot, and he's working out of ARs and everything else. And I mean, I have him. I can shoot zinc out of an AR 223. Just have to find the load, and they're coming out like a 55 grain bullet, but it's only 30 grains coming at you. But the footprint of a 55 grain bullet, actually it's 62 grain bullets that I'm using, and they come out like 31 grains or something.
There's a guy that just put out a video the other day. I sent it to Jamie the other day. It's the guy I watch. He does a lot of coyote hunting, and he goes with his family. He takes his wife and his young daughter, and he makes some tremendous shots. He's somewhere in the desert where he can shoot hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of yards, and he makes some tremendous shots. He actually does a lot with the 300 hammer, which is how I originally found him. But he did a video just this week with a 458 SOCOM bolt rifle, subsonic, and talk about vapor trails. He did, I think 6 deer in that video, and at least 5 of them you could see that bullet, and he's shooting a Lehigh Defense bullet, and he's got good camera gear, and the back of that bullet, 458 diameter, so big you can see the back of that bullet arc right to the deer within the vapor trail.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really a good video.
You know, Jamie, you had those the 35 Remington, right? That you shot the bullets out of the zinc.
1 second.
Yeah, I sent him some 195 grain round nose for 357. I forget what they weighed, 120 grains or something like that. Okay, and he fired them out of his Remington. Oh, there it is. Okay.
I still got 5 of them left. I loaded 20 and we shot the rest of them up.
And he said he was blown away by the velocities. So,
Yeah,
and he didn't load a light load, but he didn't load as heavy as he could go. So,
yeah, I think I went to the minimum load and cut that down by 10%. But we gotta take care of some business here. First, welcome to Mark Thomas. Hope you had a good week, brother.
Oh, had to unmute. I had a good week. It's been busy. We've had some snow and we've had some really cold weather. Wednesday night there was a match a little bit of a distance away. Seth did really well, and they had their last match of the season tonight at home. And he didn't win, but the team won, so that was a good thing. So just glad I could sneak in here for the last little bit. Sorry I couldn't make it at the beginning, but great to be here. Nice to see everybody. Hope everybody's doing well.
We are. We was kind of recapping our deer hunting season. Hopefully you read the topic in your email. But I wanted to ask Andy a quick question before we went to Gene, but I think it's Gene, we got to get together, man. I got to call you tomorrow, and Rebel, I need to talk to you tomorrow. And
One ringy dingy.
I know, right? So maybe Andy will be back by the time we get done. I got a question for him before we move on from the topic. So let's see what I can get done here. I got to click buttons, y'all. Give me a second. It's time for What's Hot Pot Got? What you got for us tonight, Gene?
Tonight, I want to show off a piece of this Lake City. Get it around there. That's a big old chunk of brass there. Look at that. So that's a Lake City 8.2 50 BMG round. But
Oh, weird.
the
Blank.
looky 50 BMG blank.
That's wild. Never
Isn't
seen
that
one.
cool? Now, there is not much information on these out there. I did find a little bit from Detroit Ammo Company. These are really cool. Get to see these come in once in a while. We get 2,000 to 3,000 pound bags of 50 BMG brass in. And unfortunately, most of it goes to scrap because it's super hard to sell. We had 2 bags of it in the back of the shop for months. And tried to wholesale it out to manufacturers and stuff, and nobody wanted it. But this 50 BMG blank. All right, let's make some noise. These 50 BMG blanks are great for reenactments and exhibitions. These 50 BMG blanks rounds provide police force training, and security units a plug-and-play option for the blank use with this caliber. Now, you do have to run an external blank adapter or internal BFA, which is basically just a different type of a bird cage device on there in order to get the action to cycle. Blanks are commonly used when the sound and flash of gunfire is needed, but a projectile would not be safe, such as in the military training maneuvers or funeral honors. In movies that require gunfights and starter pistols to signal the beginning of races in the equestrian sport of cowboy mounted shooting. Wow. For military applications, blanks are typically used with a special blank firing adapter in the firearm that constricts the barrel, keeping the chamber pressures from the blank high enough for long enough of a duration to cycle the firearm's action. So you too can get you some 50 BMG blanks, that 50 BMG, and let them know you're still in the neighborhood. That,
cool, man.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that is what Hot Pot's got.
Yes, sir.
I got no real new news from Republic Ammunition except we've been busy. Thank you all out there for the orders. We greatly appreciate you. And like I said, if you're a member, you'll be getting special deals and entered into once a month drawings.
That's cool stuff, man. I got to do that. So, that last question we had, if you were going to change what you're hunting with, there's a lot of great options out there for not a lot of money nowadays. Ones I like are the Ruger Americans. But Andy, what I wanted to ask you, I know that you had a Mossberg Patriot. I don't remember the cartridge that it's chambered for, but would you recommend a Mossberg Patriot to?
I have it in 223 and 300 blackout, and they both shoot lights out.
I do as well. Mine's an older one though. I wouldn't recommend a newer one today. Their bedding is kind of wonky. If you look around the internet, you'll see that most people reflect the same thing. The CVA makes a good inexpensive one. Savages are good shooters. The Ruger American, they're all better choices in my opinion.
Well, the two I have are bought approximately a year apart from each other. One, I guess, is close to 4 years. The other is only 3 years. And I mean, I'm shooting lights out with them, so I have no idea. I mean, I'm not removing it to find out how the bedding is.
Yeah, mine's a Predator. It's probably about 6 or 7 years old, and it's great. It's great, but it's not the same as the Predators today, as the Mossbergs today, Patriots today.
I'm happy with mine. I mean, but again, I'm not shooting 300-yard targets, so I can't answer that question.
Yeah, I see.
What's that kid's name? He does recoil pads and stuff. Got a little company that makes 3D printed recoil pads. A Backfire. He has one that's just pitiful, and he sent it out to Gavin there, the Ultimate Reloader, and he did everything he could think of to try and make that thing shoot. He could do nothing with it, and then he rebarreled it, did all kinds of stuff, and it still wasn't stellar, but it was far better. And then he bought another one, Backfire, because he figured it had to be a quirk, and it shoots 8-inch groups at 100 yards. So, and there's other people on the internet that you can see them shoot them, and they shoot, and the guys can shoot. They have other firearms that shoot. They just the Mossbergs didn't, and what
The only thing to throw.
Ultimate Reloader found was it was just a really, pardon my French, piss poor design in the bedding. They actually have a magazine holder, throat, whatever you want to call it, that sandwiches between the stock and the barrel, and it squishes. It just moves different. It's awful. It's a really, really poor design.
Yeah, I haven't taken the stock off. I had no need to. I have only shot zinc out of them. I've shot in the 223 full loaded, 223s with 55 grain bullet, and it made no difference. The accuracy was fine. And as far as the 300 blackout, I've only shot zinc in it. Okay, and like I said, I worked the load for the gun, and once I found the sweet spot, the thing shoots great. And again, that's never been a part, so I can't speak for inaccuracies.
Bama Dad's thinking about a Tikka.
They've been very good.
You can't go wrong with a Tika.
No, those are great rifles. I think they're in cahoots with Beretta.
They're owned by Beretta. Yeah.
And
Sacco.
maybe
Sacco.
Sacco.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, when they started, it was like a cheap Sacco, but they're not cheap. I mean, they're not crazy expensive, but they're good. They're good rifles.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought, Christian. Good save there. I don't know when they all merged or when Beretta bought them all out, but I have a Sacco AV chambered in 270, and CW and I were talking one day, and he said, "Do you really like 270 Winchester that much?" And I said, "I love 270 Winchester, but I'm not sure it's the rifle and not the cartridge, because that's the only rifle I have that's chambered in 270." But that gun was made in or close to 1988, and man, it just shoots. And that 270 cartridge, it hits a deer, the deer hits the ground. That's about all you need to know. Look at that stuff. This is man of the cloth. Don't tell my wife I own half a dozen Tikka rifles. She ain't watching. My Finish M39 has a Sacco stock and barrel, so it's chambered in 7.62 by 54R. So I like it too. I'm fixing to do some more loads with that, and hopefully make some videos on that. So CW says, beware of the Mossberg Patriots, and Andy says he likes both of his. So I'm trying to think of didn't you say the CV? CWD,
CVA.
I'm thinking of those single shots, but they also make a bolt action.
Yeah, they make a bolt action. Yeah.
CVA, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's called a Cascade.
Cascade. Yep.
That's what I'm trying to think of. Okay, so when I see those online, they're a good bit more expensive than the Ruger Americans.
They're a little more. Yeah. Another one is the Howa. You can get into a Howa about the same money as the TVA.
That's a sleeper right there. The Howard's
Yeah, real good.
The Weatherby Vanguard uses Howe actions.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not a whole lot of money either.
But Savages, even the cheapy Savages, have been really good. Really good.
They're butt ugly, but they shoot,
Yeah.
man.
And they got 110s now too. They got that Trail Hunter line that's same money as an American, and Trail Hunter Light. So you got some options in that $600 range.
Well, I noticed the new trend in hunting rifles is to hit that 1,000+ mark dollar wise.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody seems to have one, even Savage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they've got some dollar ones.
And I
That's
never
great.
understand how they sell a chassis rifle as a hunting rifle. I'm like, maybe for groundhogs or varmints, but I'm not hauling that thing in the woods. That's heavy.
They got
Yeah.
some that are coming down. That one I just bought is not overly heavy.
It isn't
Called
okay.
the not field chassis, field something or other. And it's got an aluminum block in it, and then it's plastic nylon over molded. But it's got some nice options with it. Link to pull and cheek rest and pick rails in the front, and aluminum bedding blocks.
Y'all were talking about the Patriot, and just my 2 cents. They have their place in a gun shop. You know, you got that guy that doesn't make a lot of money, and he thinks a dinner plate group's pretty good anyway, and he can buy that rifle, but there's not a whole lot you can do with them to accurize them, like CW was saying. And I didn't hear what y'all were talking about until I came back, and when he was describing the magazine and all that, I was like, he's talking about a Patriot. But I've only ever had to send one back. It wouldn't extract. It was a 243, and it wouldn't extract the brass. And I was looking at the brass and took my bore scope, looked in it, and voila, I had a rough chamber. And sent it back. It got back within 3 weeks, and it was rebarreled, and they fixed it. So, not bad customer service.
Very good.
We've had just really, really stellar luck with the Ruger Americans.
Oh yeah,
really hard not to.
and
It's
the
hard to
Gen
look somewhere
2s,
else.
the Gen 2s are really sweet. We've got one of those right now, and we've had it for a little bit. I'm surprised. A lot of guys have picked it up and oohed and awed, but it'll go home with somebody soon. But they're really nice. They up their game a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for in the 400. I'm waiting for either a standard model or preferably the Predator and 400 Legend. I could have got the ranch model, but I don't want that short barrel. I want a longer barrel.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the reason I hadn't bought one of those. But I'm wanting a different platform for the 350 Legend, and I'm debating on one of those CVA Scouts or maybe a bolt gun. And
Savage has a new line this year. I forget what it's called. I don't know if it's the Axis 2 or maybe Rebel. It's got a new design stock.
The Axis 2 has been out. I know which one you're talking about. And the
Threaded
problem
barrel,
is,
fluted barrel.
the problem with Savage is they have so many models and
So many
variations
models.
of,
Yeah, so many.
and it really gets hard if you're going to buy an aftermarket stock or a scope mount. You really got to be on your game before you order, and it's bit me in the hind end a couple times too, as a gun store owner. You know, Savage
Jamie,
Axe. Oh, go ahead.
It's an Axis. Yeah, it's an Axis.
I mean,
Go
I
ahead,
got
Kentucky.
the Ruger Ranch model 350 Legend, little Ruger American Ranch model. I put a really nice Sig Sauer scope on it, and it won't disappoint.
Yeah, mine shoots good. I have a Ranch 350 too. It shoots really good.
But
Some things I like the
Axe,
shorter barrel, but not all of them.
the Axis 2s went to 8x40 screws a couple
Yeah.
years ago, and it wasn't a big announcement, and that bit me in the butt. You know,
Yeah.
so
110s too.
yeah,
110s.
which is a nice upgrade. You know,
But
little heavier
this new
screw.
Savage I'm talking about, it's an Axis, but it's an Axis something or other, Deluxe or
Yes.
2 Deluxe or something like that. But it's Cerakoted, it's fluted, it's threaded, and it's got a much better stock. It's made to be a Ruger American market. It's going after the Ruger American, and it's got almost everything the Americans got, the Gen 2, except for the locking bolt 3-position safety. I think that's the only thing it doesn't have that the Gen 2 Ruger has. But it's also a little less money. And same calibers, you know, it's really nice. I had one offered to me in 400. I could have had it already. But I really want that American Gen 2.
I think I'm either going with a Ruger American, one of those trail hunters, the Savage Trail Hunter 110s,
Yeah, nice rifle.
and 350 Legend, and they're very comparable with that Ruger American.
Mm-hmm.
And then debating on the CVA Scout single shot. We had a comment up here earlier. I think it was Preacher's Day off.
Hey, guys, I'm going to bail out. Have a good weekend.
Thanks
Hey,
for
Andy.
being here, Andy. Thanks for your input, buddy.
Good night, Andy.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, Andy.
Preacher's Day off said his brother's got the CVA 350 Legend that drives tax. And Service says that new Thompsons, he has a feeling the new Thompson centers are going to be expensive. I went on EA Brown's website and looked at pre-ordering those, and you would be very correct, sir. The receiver and the stock and the foregrip were under $5, just under $5. And the barrels are all $4 a piece.
Well, the
So, yeah.
CVA's filling the niche. The old H&R and New England rifles are filling
sure.
with better triggers,
Yep.
better barrels. Really, a lot of guys are buying the 4570 with a tighter twist, the stainless steel one. I can't ever remember if that's the Hunter or the Stalker, but and they're converting them to smokeless muzzle loaders. Now that kind of money's not worth it to me for a 2-week season, but a lot of guys travel to muzzleload hunt. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I see.
I'm going to change my weapon. I'm not going to shoot a 50 cal muzzleloading pistol anymore.
I don't blame you, brother.
Oh,
Trip
come
starts
on.
right here.
You know,
There's one thing about it, Hot Pot, I'd be better prepared this time.
Well, most definitely. You got to give it a second round.
Yeah.
You just be prepared.
Redemption.
Your redemption.
See, preacher's trying to sell me, y'all. Look at that. I take it you're talking about the single shot. What do they call that thing? The Scout, I think is what they call it.
Yeah.
So it would be really cool if those were, you could interchange the barrels and buy different barrels for them. But then they would cost as much as
A Thompson.
the
Yeah.
Thompson Center.
It's like the old New England Firearms, was it? That you could
Yeah, NEF and H&R.
get. Yeah.
They weren't really switch barrels, but you sometimes could switch them and they would be okay. Sometimes they weren't though.
To know an old timer, he's passed on now, but he had one in a 220 Swift.
I got one in a 223 and one in a 243. I got an Ultra, an H&R Ultra. It's a heavy barreled laminated stock. It was the fancy one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was shocked when I looked at what they were pre-ordering those things for. So, Mark, what are you thinking about deer season? You thinking about switching calibers, or thing work okay?
Well, the few times I was able to get out, the 35 Remington was just fine. I have a couple of choices. I have a couple of nice old rifles that, depending on what the weather is, I'll take them out. They're all going to do the job. As far as anything new, I kind of got that little bit of an itch. I've never had a 30-06 in my collection, and that's something that's probably going to happen sometime within the next year. So that might be something else that gets added to the lineup next year. And I think I would really like to have a nice old wooden stock bolt action, and that's more my style. So I'll just keep my eyes open. When I find something that'll get in the lineup.
Well, that's something we were going to talk about too. What's your favorite action to hunt with? We'll just run through the room right quick on that one. Maybe we can get that in before the first of the week. So, lever action, bolt gun, single shot. Mark, what do you like?
I like the single shot break action. That little 308 handy rifle I have is probably my favorite. I don't know if it's the most accurate, but that's just the one I really do like to carry. That's the one that's just a lot of fun.
Very cool. Rebel?
All of them. They all kill. They all kill good.
Good deal. Kentucky?
I like a brake, a lever, and a bolt. Let's just say I've not had much experience with an automatic and a deer rifle, so I'm not saying I don't like them. I just don't have experience with them.
Well, the AR platform works pretty good. Mr. Hot Pot?
I would say I would have to go with the bolt. I'm really, really liking bolt action rifles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 6. One I'm hunting with. That's right, man. The one that gets you out the house, off the couch, and in the woods. That's the right one. Hillbilly? Yoo-hoo, hillbilly.
He's guzzling seltzers.
Could be.
I want to know how you know that, preacher. CW?
If I had to pick one, it would probably be a lever, but bolts are really close, and I like my pumps too. You don't hear much of them, but I really like them.
That's a New England. That's a New England classic right there.
Yeah. It is. I've taken deer with the AR and, some of the other ones, the Browning and the Winchester semi-autos I never did it with a Remington, but I do have a Remington 742. But I really like the 760, 7600 pump action. And I don't know. Probably levers is the one I've taken the most deer with, but bolts would be right behind it. And then I've taken a lot with single shot as well. So I really do like them all, but I think levers have to be the favorite.
Yeah, I like lever guns and bolt guns. I've never hunted with a single shot. There's Pat in a bunker. For those of you that don't know, right after our show wraps up, Pat's doing a takeover show for the guys out for Gizzard Gary, and because they're all still at SHOT Show, I imagine they'll be coming home over the weekend or Monday. So, Hillbilly, are you there? I guess not. Did we miss anybody?
We didn't go to Gene, but I know he's not a big hunter, but maybe he's got opinions just the same.
He said he liked bolt guns.
Yeah.
But I just really like a lever action.
I'd like to take a deer with a 45 Colt. I'd like to see.
It works.
Oh, I'm sure.
It works.
It's my favorite pistol caliber, but I've got a rifle. I'd love to pop one before my eyesight gets too bad. I've got open sights on that 92.
When we opened season here, I came back and started hunting here local, and I just couldn't see the big 308, 3006, 280, the cartridges I was using, up in Vermont and New York State and Pennsylvania, where you didn't see houses. You walk and you didn't see people or houses, to around here where a lot of the parcels I'm hunting, leaves are off, and you walk a couple hundred yards and you can just see the glint off a roof or a glint off a windshield, and you go over here and as far as you can see another roof or something. So you're hunting close proximity to houses. You're safe, but there's houses around. So I just couldn't see the big noise and the big power, and you just don't need it. So I went right to the 45 Colt because it's what I had. This would have been the early 80s. And then I went right to the 357 Maximum, and I hunted with that a lot until the 300 Blackout in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and mid late 2000s. And they're just small calibers. They don't make as much noise. They're plenty powerful for 50, 60 yards was the average. 100 yards is a long shot.
Sure.
So they're fine. And last week you talked about a Texas Heart Shot, and that's what I did with that 45 Colt, and it went in one end and out the other, and it was just fine.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
All right, so let's do our verse of the week, and we'll get back to the topic. Let's see what I can do here. Okay, 2 verses tonight. Y'all remember the last 2 weeks we've been talking about Romans chapter 10, starting in verse 9, that if you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Verse 10 there says, for with the heart one believes unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. And then tonight we want to talk about verses 11 and 13. And verse 11 says, for the scripture says, whoever believes on him will not be put to shame. Verse 13, for whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. So these 2 verses are saying basically the same thing. Verse 11 there, whoever believes on him will not be put to shame. That is Joel 2:32, and it's kind of show you how God works. That same verse, Joel 2:32, was the topic of Peter's opening sermon of the gospel age on the day of Pentecost in Acts chapter 2 and verse 21. So in that sermon, they cried out, "What shall we do?" How shall, basically meaning, how shall we call on the name of the Lord and be saved? Peter commanded them to repent and be baptized, etc. So Paul's prior mention only a moment earlier in verses 9 and 10, which we just recovered, of such thing that the confession, with its known relation to baptism and primary obedience, also indicates that the quotation from Joel is a real thing for of all the things required of converts. So Peter's interpretation of Joel's quotation was perhaps the most universally known and the most frequently repeated sermon of the entire New Testament age. And so that interpretation cannot be overthrown by an appeal to the context in Joel. So basically what we're saying is it's universally accepted. So when we read the scripture says, Spurgeon, y'all know I love Spurgeon. He says, referring, I think, to the general sense of scripture rather than to any one passage, there are several texts from which it may be gathered that believers shall not be put to shame. Amen. And then when we talk about all who call upon him, again, note the emphasis on the human responsibility. What Paul's covering there is, if you read Romans chapter 9 alone, we might think that salvation is God's doing alone. But from Romans 10, we might think that salvation is man's doing alone. Together we see the matter of each perspective. So basically, God has done his part to save you. Now it's up to you to do your part. And that part is to seek his face and call his name and turn to obedience to God's word. Any question or comments?
I mean, you covered it really well, Jamie. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. Bama Dad got a good comment. Not believing in him is shameful. It means you're denying your heavenly Father. In essence, setting yourself up as your own God so you can justify a sinful life and lifestyle. Yeah, it happens, buddy. See, that's what we work ourselves into. And I don't want to cast stones or anything, because I talk, when I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking about myself first and foremost. But the thing is, when anything that we put above God in our life becomes our God. So we're worshiping ourself, our job, our wife, our kids, our things, our guns. No, don't don't say it ain't so. But yeah, anything we love more than God, that becomes our idol, and that's not acceptable, in my opinion. Yeah. Preacher's Day Off loves Mr. Spurgeon as well. Yes, we have, Bama Dad. We've all done it. Mock, be a faithful servant. Amen. So I think one of the things me and Mark were talking about not long ago is sometimes I have to remind myself, and most of us are men on here. I mean, we're blessed with some ladies, Abigail, Miss Kitty, and maybe one or two more. But I think it's important that we remind ourselves as men that we are the spiritual head of our household. And it's up to us to set an example to live a Christian lifestyle and set a good example for those who are living in our house. And sometimes I do okay at that. Sometimes, well, most of the time I don't. I mean, I tend to just go on and do me, you know, and it's it would probably be better if I did my Bible study out where they could see me. But when I'm studying my Bible and I'm praying and I'm having that time with God, I tend to get by myself to do it. And the reason I do that is because I want him to have that time uninterrupted. And yeah, and sometimes I think that's a good thing. That's what I ought to be doing. And sometimes I think, well, I'd be a better spiritual leader in my household if they actually seen me doing that. But
They see you, Jamie. They see you.
It's distracting. Well, I hope so. So let's all be striving to be uh, better Christian men and better leaders of our household, and be a man that our wives or our daughters or kids or whatever, but you know that they're proud of us. And hopefully we can set a standard for the way we conduct ourselves in our lives. But all right. One more quick question. We'll go through the room, clear the deck for patting a bunker. If you were going to hunt with a pistol, would it be a revolver, or would it be a contender, or maybe an AR pistol? Mark?
Well, I would have an AR pistol that I could hunt with, but Pennsylvania won't allow it. So,
Yeah.
got to throw that out. And pistol-wise, a revolver, it's definitely going to be the 45 Magnum, the Super Blackhawk. Got that set up with a nice scope. It'll drive them. When I'm out rifle hunting, I still do carry that 41 Magnum Blackhawk, just because, you know, if I had an opportunity for a close shot, that would be in there. But I took the scope off of that one. I just didn't like it. I want to shoot that one open sights.
Very good. Rebel?
Well, what I have is a Super Red Hawk 44 Magnum, 9.5-inch barrel. I'm like Mark. I've got a scope on it right now, but I'm thinking about taking it off. I could always hit good with it, open sights, and the scope's just, I don't know. If you're keeping it within pistol distance, you know, I'm not trying to break world records or anything with a pistol, but I would personally myself keep it within 50 yards, and I'm good with open sights at that. So Kentucky.
Well, I'm gonna say a 44 mag revolver, but I did have a experience one time. I thought I was gonna pistol hunt with the 10 millimeter Glock long slide, and I put a red dot on top of it and took it out to sight it in, and I shot 7 rounds of Cellar and Bellet, and I had a case head separation, and it blowed the floor plate out of the magazine. All the rounds went on the ground. The spring floor plate. The extractor came out and pinched a big blood blister on my hand.
Ow,
Yeah.
man.
So I sent the 10 millimeter back to Glock, and they repaired it. And then I got rid of it.
The only thing that thing didn't do is punch you in the nose.
Well,
I
we've
thought
had
for
that
sure
happen.
you were going to say a 50 caliber black powder pistol.
That's just mean.
Yeah. I might have to go back down that road just to put it to rest.
Yeah, I was.
Wait a minute. I killed the deer.
You did. You hit it and you killed it.
That's a good thing, ain't it?
Yeah, I'd have been mad if I'd missed and went through all that.
I tell you
Hot
what,
pot.
Kentucky. I'll talk in a minute. Go ahead, hot pot.
Me? I don't know, man. I mean, from everything I hear, I guess 44 Magnum. And that'd be the go-to. Something nice, long barrel, put a scope on top of that thing. Yeah. If I had a choice, I think that'd be it.
Yeah, I'm thinking too. American Hillbilly.
Yeah, I have killed which it actually was a doe at the time, but did get a deer with 357 Smith and Wesson revolver, long barrel. But and that was awesome. I loved it. But I'm almost thinking, 10 millimeter. And I do have that. The one I actually would be taking with me right now at the time would be the High Point 10 millimeter. I like that pistol.
You gangster.
It is nice, isn't it, Hillbilly? I love mine too. I just had it out to the range with a buddy of mine on a get-together day. I brought that out, man. Every time he pulled that trigger, he looked at me and smiled.
It does have a happy effect.
Every time.
Yeah. How about you, C. Debbie?
I've taken quite a few deer with handgun. I think my first one, was a 357 mag. And then I took some with my first 357 Harriet. I took a few with that. I don't think I ever did with the Maximum in a pistol. I know I did in the single shot. I don't think I did with a 41 mag. I got a bunch with the 45 Colt. And I got a couple with a 10 millimeter. And I've got a couple with 45 ACP. My choice today to use one would probably be Contender. And I'd probably go with one of the I use 730 waters too. I took a couple with that in a Contender. Probably be the 730 or the 327 Harriet or this new 30 Harriet. That would be a good one too. Probably one of them, maybe the Maximum, but it would probably be the Contender for me. I've taken a bunch with my Ruger Blackhawk with a red dot on it. My 357 is an 8-inch Colt I've had that with red dot in with iron sights, and the contenders always have some kind of an optical sight, whether it's a red dot or a magnified scope. I've never shot a deer with a contender with open sights, but yeah, I like hunting them with the pistol, and I do like Mark said, and bring it out with the rifle. But all too many times I got the rifle in my hands and I totally forget about that pistol. The deer comes in and I'm locked on and I'm watching him and trying to think of where he's going to go, where I can make a good shot, where I can drop him, where he's going to go if I don't drop him. All these things that go through your head, and the last of it is to put the rifle down and pick up the pistol. So when I go with the pistol, I generally around here, because I can do it here in Connecticut with a revolver. I just bring the pistol. I leave the rifle in the truck, or I leave it at home. Because if I bring both here, that's all I'll ever do. I'll never even think of the pistol.
So I've never hunted with a pistol, but if I did, it'd probably be with my 44 mag. Trouble is, I've got 357 and 44 mag lever action rifles too, so it's kind of hard for me to make myself hunt with a pistol. Anyway, so let's start clearing the floor. Let's go through the room and see what everybody's got coming up this week. We let the American Hillbilly go first because he has to get over there and help Pat in the bunker tonight. Usually it's Gizzard Gary. So, Hillbilly, what you got coming up this week? Anything?
Yeah, buddy. I mean, got I think I got a couple videos coming out this week, and hoping that it warms up a little bit more. Then I'll get back out to the range, but yeah, we just got so of course got videos coming out for you, regardless if it's at the range or here in the house, or whatever. But yeah, I definitely got a review coming up on the Manus practice system, and so got that video will be coming out I think this week. So yeah, definitely got that to do, and then we got Guns Bearing Therapy tomorrow night, 9:00 Central, 10:00 Eastern, and you don't want to miss tomorrow night. We're also going to have Hasbro on there and Walnut and Steel, and Hasbro put out a BB gun challenge, and so tomorrow at noon Eastern is the deadline to enter that, and everybody that enters enters that BB gun challenge will be entered to win some cool stuff tomorrow night. But not only that, we also have stuff to give away besides the people entered in that. So we'll have a really fun giveaway tomorrow night, pretty much for everybody. And so don't miss it. Stop in and see us. We'd love to have everybody, and appreciate y'all being on here. And yeah, as soon as the show's over, I'll be jumping over to Pat in the bunker. He's doing a fill-in show for Gizzard Gary while he's off on vacation in Vegas at the all-famous SHOT Show. So, thanks a lot, brothers.
Thanks for being here, Hillbilly. Mark Thomas, you want to go next?
Sure. Just got to get my mic unmuted. It's been a great evening. Wonderful conversation. Good times. As far as what I've got coming up, I posted a real short video the night before last. I've been on a quest for a double action 44 special, little bulldog, and I found it. Wednesday night, on my way over to see Seth's match, I found one for a good price. I could not pass it up. So that's probably going to be my focus for the next couple of videos. We're going to load up some 44 special. I'm going to do a little bit of some of my cast bullets and a few commercial jacketed bullets, probably a 200 grain XTP. Just something fun, something to play with. The pistol is a nice 3-inch barrel, so should be real accurate. Just gonna have something fun and new to play with.
It's a good looking pistol. I saw your video this morning.
Yeah, it's an older one, but boy, it's in great shape.
Yeah, look good. Look good. I saw it too.
What is it?
Charter Bulldog.
Charter Arms?
Yep.
I think a 3-inch barrel on a revolver is absolutely perfect length for carry.
Yep.
I do. I think it bridges that gap between concealability and accuracy better than anything else.
Yep, and I got some ideas, and I'm going to build myself a real nice holster for it.
There you go.
It's going to be perfect.
Very cool, man.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here, buddy.
My pleasure.
Rebel, you want to go next?
Yeah. Hopefully it warms up next week. I ordered a fish tape off Amazon, and I'm going to try and pull some wire through my new boat and start getting the Garmin hooked up on it to get ready for this spring. If I do get to ride the electric bike, Jamie, if you get a message from me that I won't be appearing next Friday night, it means my face has been it's been a while since I rode a bike. So yeah, it's a little different. I've got a ways to go before I take it really off road, but I got a pretty good trail up to my tree stand. I might try that and ride around the field since it's not planted. And earlier Pollard put Rebels Gone Green. I don't have a solar hat that's charging the battery or anything like that, but it's just so I don't have to pedal. It's so my fat lazy butt don't have to pedal as much. But it's pretty fast. And I wanted to tell Kentucky that my cousin used to take an old, and I've got one in here, 50 cal pirate style black powder gun, and he would load buck and ball in it and keep it as a backup. And it was illegal in North Carolina at the time, but he was hunting on private property. And the first coyote he ever saw in the woods, he shot with that thing and cut it in half. It was bad.
Yeah. What was he shooting? Grape shot?
I don't know what he was shooting. He was shooting like a ball and a bunch of little balls. It was just crazy what he had loaded in there. And he was like, boom, and it just cut it in half. It was crazy. But he won't admit if it hit him in the nose. Okay.
I got one of the old black powder pirate pistols, but it's not 50 caliber. I think what is it? 40, 44 maybe?
36 maybe.
6, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I like loading that thing up and stuffing paper towels in it. New Year's Eve and just shooting it up in the air. That's fun.
Confetti.
Well, yeah. Flaming confetti.
Very cool. Well, thanks for being here, Mr.
Thank you.
Rebel. And I'll be in touch with you sometime tomorrow, I hope.
Okay.
Kentucky Rimfire and Hobbies, what you got coming up this week?
I congratulate Mark Thomas. He made it through a whole show without falling asleep.
Well, he's got his camera off, so you can't. We don't know. There he is.
I was fixing to say we're not clear yet.
I got some. I still got some videos banked up. Like I said, I went out last weekend and shot some videos, and I was discouraged with the footage. Had some focus issues with the snow in the background. I don't know, my camera didn't want to focus or whatnot, so I didn't even bother editing those. I had a million opportunities to go to the range today, but after working out in the cold weather all week, I've been a lazy bum today. So maybe tomorrow. I might go to the range tomorrow, try to get some more videos done. But I enjoy being here. And Hillbilly, I wish you wouldn't have told people about that BB gun challenge. You got people trying to knock me off my throne. So, but the last time I checked, I was in first place with just the regular Red Ryder BB gun. But Walnut and Steel, he's coming after me. He's trying
Good old
every day.
Nibs.
Yeah, yeah, Nib's trying every day to beat my score. So, thanks for having me on here tonight, Jamie. As always, it's a good show and enjoyed being here.
Well,
How
thanks
about
for being
you,
here.
Gene, Mr. Hot Pot?
Thank you, Jelly. I mean, KY.
You nasty.
Be me, man. I just can't help it. Thanks for having me on tonight. It's been a very informative show for me, considering I haven't been the hunting type for many, many, many years. But I am going to the range tomorrow. I have an event to shoot tomorrow, a GSSF shoot. There's 3 in the series, so I'm going to try to hit all 3 this time. Having a lot of fun with it, just getting to the range, being around some fellow shooters that I normally shoot USPSA and Steel Challenge with through the summertime. So I get to hang out with them a little bit, maybe do lunch or something afterwards. It should be a good time. And always trying to improve those scores, always trying to do better. But thanks for having me on. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight out there in the chat. We greatly appreciate you. And I think with that, we kick it up there to CW.
Thanks, Gene. Thanks for being here. Always a good time. Appreciate the What's Hot Pot got. That was a pretty neat one tonight. And I've got a couple videos coming. That's true. Got one on Monday and one on Thursday, and there might be one in between there. And what's coming up is more contender stuff. I got that 30 Harrod out, and shot some Fireforeman loads, and that video is coming up. And then I got a video on reloading with that 30 Harrod. And then I got some Christmas presents, video on Christmas presents. So a couple of things to look forward to. I've been having a lot of fun with the contenders. I got a 357 Harrod barrel in today, so I replaced my sold 14-inch Harrod barrel I sold back in 2000. So that's going to be pretty neat. I got dies coming in. They were supposed to be here today, but they're delayed with the Pennsylvania weather. So maybe tomorrow and probably Monday, looking like. And I got that stock that I ordered today coming in, I don't know, a week or so. And with videos on that. And I want to play with the 450 Bushmaster a little bit more. So I'll probably have videos on that once the weather breaks. I haven't been able to do any videos on the range. I've been to the range a couple times, but it's cold and I haven't been able to make worthwhile videos, so I haven't posted them. But we'll see. I was going to go today, but I heard that they were working on the range and we weren't sure. One of the other directors couldn't tell me for sure, so I didn't want to drive all the way over there and find out that I wasn't able to shoot because there's people downrange. So I figured it's only 28 degrees, so I'm going to stay home. It's a lot warmer than it's been, so it's warm enough to go, but I didn't want to waste my time traveling all the way there and find out I couldn't shoot. So maybe tomorrow. We'll see. My buddy's got to work tomorrow, so we're not going to go after coyotes. So we'll see. But good time, good chat. We had a lot of different topics. I hope everybody found it interesting. We had quite a bit of participation from the side chat, which is always great. Good to see a couple of brand new faces I saw, which is always nice to see. And appreciate all you people. Appreciate the guys on the board. And we had a really good time tonight. You're muted, James.
Jamie's muted.
Thanks, CW. I appreciate you and all the guys on the panel. We appreciate even more all the guys in the side chat because y'all are why we do what we do. I'm gonna try to do a couple of videos here soon. I know I gotta get some done up, and Preacher's Day Off's been great over there. He's trying to make me laugh on camera out loud. So we're going to clear the deck. Y'all go over and watch Pat in the Bunker and Hillbilly Up. And we hope the Lord blesses y'all real good. And if he's willing, we'll see y'all all again next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say good night, y'all.
God bless everyone.
Good
Good
night,
night,
y'all.
everybody.
Night.
See ya.